Okay, I'm recording. This is Reviewer Magazine. We're in the home of Mr. Scott Mercado from Manuok, and I'm videotaping him in his home studio. He's looking for a recording of his grandfather, who was Francisco Mercado.
Bush is an idiot.
A song or a?
This is my grandpa.
Restart the peace process by removing.
He's reading to me the newspaper.
In Gaza, but they're not removing it.
He's talking about the Middle East crisis. This is probably 2004, 2003.
Shore up Arab support for creating.
Yeah, I titled it "Bush is an idiot" because at some point he goes off about.
Gets a little editorial.
He gets
about
pretty
the president.
editorial. He wasn't a fan of Bush, and he thought our country was going to hell. He was sad for me. Some of these recordings have a hiss to them. You hear that? That's kind of a bummer.
Is that from the type of tape?
Yeah, because I was surreptitiously recording the things. The sound wasn't always good. I didn't find out till later that the sound was bad. I couldn't do a mic check because he didn't want me to record him. So I had to clean up a lot of those as best I could. So yeah.
And you were recording his story about how he almost lost the family home to a $25 tax bill back in the 1920s.
So
is he still alive?
No, he died in 2005.
Oh, okay, okay.
September 2005. I'm looking for a song with him on it. Let's see. Nope.
And he was a bombardier in World War II.
Right.
Got shot down over the English Channel.
Yeah.
No, he didn't get shot down.
They took a lot of flack, and the engine got damaged, and they had to emergency land. The English wouldn't let them land, so they had to bail the plane out over, probably the English Channel.
Where were they supposed to land?
That's a good question, but just not the air base that they could make it to.
Okay.
That's a good. But they just
So they
ostensibly couldn't make it to where they were supposed to go.
They were coming back to England, but it just wasn't the closest one that they were supposed to go to. Okay. And the English security guy on the radio was saying, "No, you can't land here. You don't have permission. If you try to land,
and turn that thing around, we'll shoot you down." Is what they said.
Really?
Yeah.
And why? Was it just because it wasn't?
Oh, because
the
they could have been a German aircraft disguised as an American aircraft for one.
Okay. Was it nighttime?
It was nighttime.
Huh. So they couldn't see him, couldn't identify him.
I mean, even they could see the plane, they weren't supposed to be landing there, so it could have been a fake. It could have been a hijacked airplane. It could have been anything, but so it would have been a disaster if a bomber flew over an airfield.
Oh, right.
That was a German airplane. That's why they were turned around.
I get it now.
Yeah.
And what month and year was this? Do you know?
This was July 1944.
July 19th, 1944. Okay.
I don't know about the date, but it was July 1944.
It's an amazing piece of history.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Here's actually to music, his story.
As you got near there, that shoot at you with flag, warning flag, just below you, and they tell you, get the hell out of here. So say you can't go there, tell them you can't go, it's a restricted area, and tell them we're not lost, we have a heavy emergency. We're not lost, we're talking to British Air Sea Rescue in case you run out of gas and have to hit the water. We're already talking to Air Sea Rescue, we gave them our head, so they'll be looking for us.
So as the song goes on, he talks more about his crew arguing with the pilots, with the officers. The officers want to turn around and follow orders basically from the British.
And the crew's mutinying, saying, "Hey, we're gonna crash you. We're gonna all die. We're gonna die anyways. Why not try to land? Maybe they won't shoot us down."
Court-martial or die. Court-martial death. Court-martial death. But he turned the plane over the ocean, and he actually lost his life.
The pilot did.
The pilot did. Yeah.
But not your grandpa.
My grandfather survived.
So
flew a few more missions, but ultimately survived. He actually wanted to be a what's that called? You want to be a pilot.
Okay.
Fighter pilot.
All right.
and was trained for it. At the last minute, he got sick, which was, in my view, a blessing. Because the likelihood of him surviving, had he been a pilot, would have been small.
Why is that?
Just pilots
have to fly more missions, or more.
They have to fly more missions, they're more dangerous. You know, they're in attack mode, which means they're being attacked. So the likelihood of survival was pretty small. Wow. Which meant that my father wouldn't have been born, and I wouldn't have been born. So it worked out pretty good for me. Yeah.
It's like a science fiction theme, story theme. Well, this is a pretty cool little home studio. Do you mind if I get a couple of clips of what's on the walls here?
Sure. Actually, this was my grandfather's here.
Your grandfather painted that.
He did not paint it.
Okay.
No, but he. This was in his kitchen.
Oh, that was his. Yeah. That was his painting. It belonged to him.
My grandmother gave me that.
Very cool.
Both my grandparents on that side were Mexican American.
That's very Mexican American. That's very Aztec, huh?
Sure.
The one on the left and then the one on the right is kind of.
What is this? Salvador.
El Salvador, okay.
Let's see what we got here. That is a. I'm not sure. Rachel's been working on that.
A little impression.
That's my old man via satellite. We got little Drew Andrews in there, and Tim Reese, and James Trent. It's been in this house forever. I don't know where it came from, but it's creepy.
One of those things you remember seeing when you were a little kid. So just kind of like emblazoned in your memory, huh?
Yeah. Caricature. We got a poster from a good artist.
Good stuff.
Cool postcards from people.
And this is where it all goes down as far as Manuok's sound. You record it all here. You concoct it all here.
All in this room. I have a garage out that way. Record drums and louder elements, but for the most part, this is it.
So it's all done on house or on site.
Almost everything is done right here in this room. Except every now and then I'll record drums at a professional studio, but for the most part, right here.
Is this the direction that things are going, not only with Manuok but with music in general? I mean, things just getting kind of stripped down, and since the labels all died, I mean, labels don't really give a whole lot of recording support, studio support, do they?
All those things being true, I think the main reason people record at home is because they can. The cost of owning a computer and the software are relatively small. More and more electronics get cheaper. You can buy a pretty great sounding microphone or headphones, and you can do it yourself. And if you can do it yourself, you have more control and more likely achieve the sound that you want.
And has that changed or dramatically improved or dramatically changed? A lot of modern music, a lot of today's music, new music.
That everybody can record means there's more music, which means it's harder to filter out because everybody's recording at home. There's more bands. There's more of everything. It used to be very hard to get to the studio. It used to be hard to get to a point where you could go to the studio. So you could say there's a lot more crap out there, or just a lot more content out there.
Yeah, it probably lowers the curve in some respect. But for those people that do have talent, or I heard a story one time that where they were talking about John Lennon. He used to just work his ass off writing. I mean, he would spend hours a day just writing. We look at the whole Beatles oeuvre and we think, man, those guys were talented. That must have been just magic. Well, he really worked hard. I mean, he would when he'd get inspiration, he'd sit down with a pen and a paper and he would write the song. And having all this equipment readily available in your home, doesn't that kind of lend itself to the same thing, where when you get the inspiration, you can walk in here and maybe it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you can just start to record?
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not here, I have some sort of phone. I can record an idea on. There's so many ways for me to capture an idea, either in a light sense or in a complete sense. It's absolutely amazing. I have more songs on my computer than I could possibly release. Yeah, that's because it doesn't mean they're all good, but it's like a diary. I come home and like you said, 2 o'clock in the morning, I have an idea or feeling or whatever it is, and I just play.
And you can cut and paste.
I make